If you've got a police recruitment process ahead of you, or you're actually in it now, I guarantee you're going to have an interview, either the online assessment centre or a final interview, or both. And I'm going to read your mind, because my guess is you're really confused about what the interview actually involves, how to structure your answers, what sort of detail is needed, and a range of other things that will be swirling around your mind. And you're not alone. If we can share this with you, I've coached and supported thousands of people just like you in one-to-ones, in webinars, and seminars, and my online courses, and you are not alone. I'm Brendan from Bluelight, and I've been coaching and supporting people to succeed in the police recruitment process now for over 10 years. I've been coaching and supporting people in the police sector for promotion boards and specialist interviews now for 26 years. I joined in 1985, 37 years ago. How old does that make me? Well, it makes me experienced, because I've gone through all of those sort of concerns that you have now with thousands who have gone before you. And I'm going to share with you in this video just 10 things not to do, 10 mistakes that get made. And these are from a recent webinar where I was coaching and helping people to succeed in the stage 2 interview for the online assessment centre. But equally, this advice and guidance would work for you if you've got an interview coming up as well. So pin your ears back, folks, for 10 things that you should absolutely avoid doing. And if you want to find out more about how to actually join these webinars where I guarantee that you're going to pass, I know that sounds like a bold claim, but if you do the work I ask you to do and you still fail, then I think it's pretty fair that I should be able to give you a refund. And if it's not for you, within 24 hours you think, actually, this just isn't me, I'll give you a full refund. Just drop me a line and I'll give you a full refund. No questions asked. I've only given 2 refunds over the past year, so this makes perfect sense. Anyway, check the links below to all of those services. Come and join me on the webinars. Come and practice. Come and learn like this. 10 things coming up. So the first one, there is no we, there is no our. So my client here was answering a question around taking responsibility for a challenging problem. And she talked about what we decided to do, what our aim was. We spoke to the manager, we decided. Do you know, none of that can get marked, because the assessor doesn't know whether you did it or whether someone else did it. So there's no our, there's no we, there's only I. And you need to describe what you did as part of the problem-solving process. Number 2, vague statements. So I demonstrated an open body language whilst I approached the individual. What on earth does that mean? Do not use words like that. There's all sorts of more specific phrases that you can use, and I introduce you to those on the course, how to actually describe open body language. But I approached the person calmly and professionally, or in this case, I approached them with an open body language. It's absolutely meaningless, because only you understand what you mean by open body language. Number 3, oh yes, detail. So this individual said that they called a meeting with a group of individuals, and there was 30 years of experience in that group. And we collaborated. And that was it. If you think you can just use phrases from the competency and values framework to succeed, we collaborated with each other. No, that doesn't work. You've got to describe how you actually did something called collaboration. Restructure in a way that would ensure that each department was profitable in its own something buzzword, something. Look, don't get too technical. They don't know what your world is all about. So don't presume that everyone knows what your world is all about. So no technical stuff. You've just got to explain in real Janet and John language. You've got to be of a certain age to understand that phrase. If you are of a certain age, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is really simplistically. Janet and John books were my childhood books, and they were written in a really simple way. You won't see them on the bookshelves anymore, because they have things like, today John is helping Daddy in the garage fix the car, whilst Janet is in the kitchen baking cakes with Mummy. Seriously, the stories were like that, but they were very simplistic. So you've got to explain your role in a very simplistic way. Oh, here, bonus one as well. Slow down. It's not part of the top 10. I've just seen it. This candidate just went so fast. I had trouble even writing down what they were saying. So you've got to slow down. A question about decision making. Please, can you tell me about a time when you've had to make a difficult decision where others may not have agreed with you, or whether when you had to account for your actions to others? It's a really common question. It's been common since I joined. I was asked that question in 1985. Be careful to actually describe what the decision was. So it sounded like a lovely account there, so it was great, but I couldn't identify where the actual difficult decision was. And there's a pathway you need to take in terms of difficult decisions, because at some point it's a difficult decision, and another point over there it's an easy one. And there's a series of things you need to do before you can talk about how now I was able to make the decision because all of these things that went before. Number 6. In the future, I'll do more to consult with individuals. This will create a more inclusive environment. Buzzword, buzzword, blah, 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 blah. My client said I was just trying to fill the time in the debrief after. If you're trying to fill the time, fill it with something that's meaningful, not something that makes the assessor just go blah, 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 blah. Just word soup doesn't actually help get you any evidence whatsoever. Number 7, make sure you've got a structured approach. You'll have heard me talk before about the SAL approach, describing the situation, your aims, the actions you took, the result, and the learning. A more advanced form of that is SAL-Q, where you go on to talk about knowledge and understanding. This is where you forward pace yourself into the future. You talk about why this behaviour is so important and how you would implement it in your future role. You don't need to do that for the online assessment centre, but for your final interview, that will really, really give you some bonus points. Number 8, if you deliver an answer, make sure it's about a specific occasion, about a specific incident. Just looking at what this client talked about. What they actually talked about was their role, what they normally do, and it wasn't a specific scenario, a specific situation. What the police want is a specific scenario where you can describe your behaviours. My client on this day, on this occasion, actually really struggled to describe their behaviours because it wasn't about a specific incident. Number 9, if you're delivering an answer about something that you did that was complex, in this case it was answering the question under the competency of innovative and open-minded, how they learnt from an experience and did something new as a result. Too many things. You're trying to include too many things that they've done and learnt from in one answer. Just pick one thing and talk about it in detail. And actually, part of it, I was able to take and rescue part of their answer because they talked about influencing volunteers and some voluntary work they did and how difficult it was. So we niched it down, but initially they just wanted to tell me everything about their volunteering, which didn't work because it wasn't very specific. It didn't focus on just one thing. But like I said, I rescued it and we redeveloped it. And what an awesome answer now. Oh my goodness, the answer is awesome. It's going to be so high scoring. And at the very end, the SAL lesson number 10, the 10th thing. This isn't just the only 10 tips, by the way. I've got hundreds of tips, hundreds. If you've watched any of these previously, you'll know that there's so many tips, so many things, so much guidance I can provide you with. So it's not just the 10. Don't want you thinking, oh, there's only 10 things that I must not do. No, there's far more than that. Vagueness again. So in the learning, this client talked about, I learned a lot, I felt empowered. What does that mean? I learned a lot, I felt empowered. You might as well say nothing. So you've got to be far more specific, and there's a model we can utilize there. There's an actual paragraph, it's like a template. You can just drop the words in, the appropriate words in, which will nail it every time in terms of the learning. So there you go, folks. In less than 10 minutes, 10 things that you must not do for your Stage 2 online assessment centre interview or your final interview as part of the police recruitment process. Check the links below. Come and join the Facebook groups. Come and join the courses. Come and see me on the webinars. And like I said, if it's not for you, let me know. Give you a refund. It might be the best investment you've ever made. I'll catch up with you soon, folks. Bye-bye for now.